A Finnish split today, Mike. We're talking Kerzenlicht and Kirous. Familiar with either of these bands?
No, never heard of them at all. And this is my first time listening to either of them. You?
I'd heard of Kerzenlicht, but there was a bit of a hype around a demo that came out last year. Didn't know Kirous.
But that's the first thing they have done, right? Two piece.
Yes, correct. So this is this split, which is actually coming out on Signal Rex. Really cool label. This is Kerzenlicht's second offering, but this is Kirous's. He's done a fair few bits, to be honest. Yeah, if you look at them, tell them there's like 10 releases, shall we say? No full length, I don't think. Maybe just like
lots of bits and bobs,
a lot of demos. Yeah, a lot of demos going on. But this is split up with Kerzenlicht. It's Kerzenlicht heavy, shall we say? The first
he's taking the bulk, isn't he? Of this,
yeah. The first 4 songs are Kerzenlicht, or I think it's a band. They're a 2-piece, by the way.
Yeah, I said that.
Huh?
I said they're a 2-piece.
Oh, I thought you said he's taken the front load of it.
Oh yeah, maybe I did. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so they're doing the first 4 songs, and then Kirous is doing the last 2 and a little interlude-y introduction thing.
It's a little interlude there, isn't there? It doesn't really count.
It doesn't really.
And it's the same. It's the same title, isn't it, as the next song anyway?
That's a mistake on Bandcamp. Which yeah. There's a different track for it. So okay, let's just get into it with Kerzenlicht. This, I had a great time with this. This was feeling and what's the word, man? It's like the beauty of it was in the like all over the placeness of it, if that makes sense. Like the mixing of this was kind of crazy. Sometimes the
bizarre.
Sometimes the
I don't think there was any mixing. No, I don't know.
Probably not. Sometimes the drums would just like go up in volume so loud and like
the vocals as well, like jumped all over the place volume wise. So it didn't sound like there was any compression or anything used to like try and have any kind of consistent volume level to the vocals.
No, it's crazy, isn't it? But that made it all the more enjoyable for me. Like it was
there was a big charm to it.
Yeah. Like the drums were like really choppy on the fills as well. Like it almost felt like there was I don't know, like it felt quite one take, which I thought really worked.
I was about to say, it had that vibe, didn't it? There was times I was listening to thinking, it feels like they've just gone through it once, been like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna, that's the go of it. We're gonna go with.
There's a rawness and like a purity to that about it. And it works in its favor all the more for it.
Yeah.
So track 1, As the Snow Falls, it starts with that kind of classic 6/8 kind of swing, you know, that black metal stick.
Yeah, I love that.
And that riff kind of breathes for like 2 minutes. It's
a great riff as well.
It is. It's a great riff. They're not like, let's just punch them straight out the gate. They let that breathe for like 2 minutes, and then it kind of comes back around, but with vocals in this time. And the vocals. How did you feel about the vocals, Mike?
They were quite unhinged. There was a lot of like it. I don't think there was much refinement had gone on in what they were doing. It was, let's just go for it, you know, and that lack of like kind of processing on them as well for like compression and things. There was just a real rawness. They were quite one tone. I enjoyed he would add these like wails in places which I thought were cool. But yeah, I liked them. There was a charm to them. They had that kind of, I think they had the same kind of messy, chaotic energy that the rest of the music had.
I loved these vocals. I thought they were like anguished and very, even though they were like one note, I really enjoyed it. And like you said, those kind of like wails were really, really cool. Carry on with track 1, As Snow Falls. It took about 4 minutes until there was a bit of a transition to a kind of a more like headbanging, like 4/4 kind of riff, where the drums were like accenting on the toms with the kind of muted guitar. It was really well done. But I loved the end riff when they started blasting. I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but like they're quite the songwriting for Kerzenlicht was quite formulaic in a way. It was like recycle. It was like riff, riff, and then recycle that, and then end on another riff. There wasn't much
Mm.
to it in that sense, but I didn't really care.
No, and the riffs were kind of good enough to just you work with what they had.
Yeah, yeah. The track two, "Key to the Dark Fortress," was probably the most straightforward song out of the Kerzenlicht package. It was the shortest as well, at around 4 minutes. It wasn't too much for me to like pinpoint that I really in
Yeah.
like. I enjoyed it in the session of Kerzenlicht, but I probably wouldn't be like I need to listen to that song again. But there was some cool counter
I
management
feel
on
like
the
the other
bass,
songs were maybe had a bit more there was a bit more about the other songs on that the split compared to maybe track 2.
which I think was the guitar work, right? Probably.
Yeah, there wasn't as much standout, if you know what I mean. Because I think when you get onto track 3, "Surrender to My
Yeah.
Will," that was probably my highlight song of this side, the Cursing. So I thought it was really great. Um, you kind of had a lot more pace in this one, from the off. It was like blasts, and then it went into a really cool kind of fast beat. Um, Again, really good guitar playing, really good riffs, and really nice chord progressions and stuff. Um, it was great, and there was an amazing um like headbanging kind of riff at about 4 minutes 10
Hmm.
that comes in. He does like a little
Yeah.
laugh as it comes in, and I thought that was really cool. That kind of to me when I heard that bit, I was like, yeah, this is my highlight song on this. This is kind of got that extra bit
I'm
about
in the
it.
exact same boat, man. Yeah, there was some really good riffs all out throughout this song, but that moment at like 4 minutes was probably the best part of the whole split. Really cool. Then going into Kalitu, God, Ikusuten. Excuse that butchering of the language. This is where there was like a really cool lead line that was the kind of main hook
Yeah,
of the song, and there was like sort of some
yeah.
hammer-ons in that kind of riff as well, which hadn't really. It kind of stood out on the record, I thought.
Yeah. And that was I thought that was great. I thought that actually really, it was the focal point of the song because they kept bringing it back as well, and every time they did, I think it was a really good part to repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that song, when I finished with that song, I was like, okay, this solidifies like Kerzenlick to be something quite exciting for me. Like
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed listening to it. It's like it was just like raw, old school, like pure black metal, and I think it was they're just doing something right, which is really cool. So then onto the Kira side of things. So there's like a like we spoke about. There's like a short little interlude slash introduction to the Kira's side of the split. It actually was like a nice.
That felt like a waste of a track
Oh,
to me.
I thought
That
it was
was
quite a nice little like because they might have only had two tracks, and then this I felt like it was a nice
well, I'm
break
guessing
between
that
the
probably was
two.
the case, yeah. I guess that yeah, I suppose that was the case, but then I've there's part of me that feels like because Curzon had 4 songs, and they were all fairly lengthy, and then
Oh,
to have and then to have like the 3 on the Kira side, but then one of them's like a 30-second kind of intro. It didn't feel like it was as much of a showcase for the band, if you know what I mean.
I liked it because it felt like that was the separation point of the two. I think had it just gone straight
Yeah.
into another track, it might have possibly felt a bit jarring because the styles are actually quite different. So like
Well, they are, but maybe what would have been better is maybe if Kiros had done 3 songs and then the intro between them.
so basically, you're just saying do more, do more.
Just do a little bit more, yeah. Just one more, even it up.
So like Curious, yeah, this is my first introduction with Curious. It was a lot more polished than I was expecting. It had like an overall bigger sound to it, didn't it?
Way more polished, yeah, which actually was quite a difference when you heard that between that and Kerzenlicht as well. It was the production probably was the thing that made it them stand apart from one another by quite a way.
Yeah, there was a lot of lead lines in the Kira side of things, and one thing, Mike, that I was not expecting was like a kind of real Spanish acoustic flamenco
Yeah,
breakdown
what was
moment.
that about? I mean, it was really well done. Like it was it was like this sort of fuzzy sort of sounding Spanish guitar, and I think they did it on
Yeah,
both songs had those moments on it.
yeah. There was I don't
Probably my favorite parts, actually, to be
They
honest with
probably
you.
were my favorite parts. I have to say, I wasn't taken by the Kira side of it. I think I was so in love with the Kerzenlicht moments that kind of when it got to this part, so I was a bit like, like it didn't hit as hard. But that acoustic thing was quite cool. It's just I felt that the
Mhm.
main riffs that Kiros was kind of producing were a little bit neither here nor there for me. And then also the song ended really abruptly and just sort of went into the next track, which felt kind of strange.
Yeah, it had that sort of unfinished vibe, didn't it,
Yeah.
to the first one, yeah. It was interesting because in ways, it was the Kyros songs were more accomplished, if you know what I mean. There was obviously a good standard musicianship on there, but it kind of felt like because it was in relation to the Kurznik side quite a bit more polished, that it it sort of maybe lacked a bit of the charm and special moments that Kurznik kind of had on theirs.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's kind of like sometimes pure and like just that one take feel can like capture something a lot more
Mm.
emotive in black metal than maybe a bit too polished. Even though like maybe musically there was more going on in the Kira side, it's an interesting one.
Well, vocally as well, because he did this kind of like death metal vocal
Yeah,
sort of in the second song, which became sort of part of it,
that threw
which I
me.
wasn't
Yeah,
expecting.
that threw me. That also
Yeah,
came with that kind of acoustic. There was like again, like we spoke about, another acoustic moment.
yeah.
And then there was like a chugging section with this like deeper death metal vocal, and I was just a little bit didn't really hit for me.
No, it didn't quite for me. I could kind of I could tell that there was a lot of kind of musical prowess in there. There was a lot of talent and things, but it didn't grab me as much as Curzon Lakeside.
Yeah, but never.
But I also think other people would listen to it and probably think that the Kiros side's better. I think it just depends
That's
on
what I mean.
taste.
Yeah, but they're very divided. But so it's quite a cool split in that sense. Like I think
Mhm.
you're going to find different things different appealing. If you have checked out this split, do let us know which side of it you prefer. If you had a favorite to it, or if you think they're both on a par.
Yeah, they complemented each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, personally, from my point of view, I'm really excited to see what Kerzenlicht do next because that was a really cool like set of songs. But yeah, if you are new here, we put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest metal releases. So subscribe if you like listening to kind of like us talk about underground black metal, and we will hopefully catch you in the next one.